Good morning. It is October the 24th, 2016, and we're going to talk about where does the trading idea come from? How do I know to be long or short? And in addition to that, from which level should I be long or short? And we're going to talk about crude oil today. This is the December crude oil contract. You can see it right there. And when I come in and look at this screen, I've got a P right here. I've got to move out of the middle. Longer term, as long as I can stay above 49, basically, I can trade higher. I have resistance up here at 51.50, and as long as I stay below 51.50, I can trade lower. So I have a potential mom right here, and you can see how it's retesting that start of that new distribution up at 50. So I've got lower highs, and I'm heading lower, and I've got volume that is moving lower in each distribution. So I am a seller, and that's the most important decision that we make as a trader. And as long as I stay below 51, right here at the top of those two letters, I've got a chance for this trade to develop. And I really need to take out this high volume number at 49.65 to 70, and then again at 49.25 to stay with us. So we've got support 49.25, 49.75, and we have resistance 51 even, 51. It's like 51.85, and that's where we came in. But the idea was to find a place to sell it. So I further refined this idea by going to the F2 screen. And this is what I look at when I first come in. So I have to get my distributions right. So right here, starting in this C period, market, that's the longest line of letters, starts to come down. So I definitely have a B here. If I look at this volume, independent by itself, I've got more volume in the bottom half, and volume has moved lower, so that confirms the sell. And then I come in the morning looking at the Globex low right here, and it's leaning B for sure, and then I got a potential move out of the middle in W period. So where do my levels come from? Well, the first thing I do is I mark out round numbers. There's 50-50, 51 even, 51.50, and to the downside 50 even, and 49.50. So those are my market numbers right there, and I'm very cognizant of those. Then the day session, then I step back in and I look at this before the day session opens, and I've got a potential move out of the middle. So I've got a data point at my market numbers, number one, 50-50. I've got this data point. 50.58, I've got this data point at 50.38. That's my third data point. And I've got a data point up here basically at 98. So the last rotate up before we came in this morning was at 73. So 50.50 is a market number. Last rotate up stopped at 73. So I've got my 50-50, a market number, and I've got this last rotate up that stopped at 73. So my first sell level was 50-50 to 50.75. So that's number one. Number two, I've got a market number at 51. I've got this high right here at 98. I've got this high, I think it's just above 51. I've got that high above 51. I've got this high right here at 8. And then the other morning I have this last rotate up at 23.25. So I've got one data point, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the homework says I am a seller, so to get off a short I've got to be more aggressive. I've got plenty of time to get long. I'm not in a big hurry to get long. But if I'm going to get short, I'm going to have to get short. So that 50-50, here's where the day session opened at 50.28. at 50.50 to 50.75, sell 1. Sell 1. 51 even, 51.25, sell 2. And so that's where the sell points came from. Now, on the buy side, I've got this low volume number just above 50. I know the market, the professional community knows that there's stops below 50 even. I've got this high volume number down at 83. I've got the last rotate down on the afternoon of the 16th that stopped at 58, so stops below 50 into this high volume area. Stops maybe below 49.75, so buy 1 was 75 to 50 even, and we put a question mark right here at 50. Said if we can't take out 50, we might have to pay up. That was buy 1, and my idea then was if they were to take out 49.50, we'd probably get down to 49 even. So I had the second buy point at 49.25. Okay, no news to deal with. So we don't have to know who and why are getting short in these particular areas. The sell side, we have to be more aggressive on the sell side. So leaning stops above 50.50, and I think the high was 51 or 52 in the day session. So 50.50, 50.75 was our sell 1. And then we picked up 51 to as high as 50.25 for sell 2. And on the buy side, we were playing for stops below 50. So the low volume number, and we didn't get there yet. And then we took out 49.75. My feeling was we'd head down to 49. So that's where the levels come from. When you look at it, it's a combination. The idea, that's the direction. You want to trade from the sell side or the long side. And if the idea is to be short, you have to be faster making that decision. Then I come in, and that comes from F1. Then I go to F2, and I get my levels. And I confirm the F1 screen. And if they're both in agreement, and they were, then I've got a chance for a stronger trade. And then, once all that is put in, we go to our F4 screen to execute. And the first trading opportunity we had that fit our idea, 50.75, 50.50, we could have had a resting limit sell at 50.50 against the mean green trade. Or if I weren't excited about having a rested limit buy or sell, and crude can really overrun you, I would have a sell stop taking out that bar's low, and I think that would have put us in at 41. So we were short at 50 or 41, and the market trades down to 50.08. And that is the anatomy of a trade. That's where the idea came from, crude oil that was put out and in your hands at 7 a.m. Central time, which would be 8 New York or Eastern, and you had over an hour to get ready to take the particular trade. If you'd like to know more about us and our methodology, we're going to give you 5 free days in the main trading room where we trade crude, gold, the euro, 30-year bond, 10-year note, and the E-mini. Those 5 free days you get to see the software, the methodology, me work live, real time. You should get all the answers you need to know about whether our service is right for you or not. Looking forward to seeing you in the main room for your 5-day free trial offer. Good afternoon. It is October the 24th, 2016. Time to recap our trading in the E-mini today. We came in this morning wanting to sell 49s to 51s, and we had our first buy this morning at 40 to 42. And that was in your hands at 7 Central. That's not bad. I mean, that's better than not bad, and we consistently do this in a lot of markets. So we saw a trading range day today. We thought we would get stops above the Globex session highs. We did. Then the market sold and eventually gets down to 40 to 42. And it was a reasonable day trading. The break, we didn't have a lot to work with until after lunch when the range was extended. But trading in the E-mini is likely to stay this way until the presidential elections are behind us. If Trump does happen to win and everybody's trying to be first out there to predict that he loses, my guess is the stock market will be allowed to sell. The Fed won't backstop it, and the administration, and nobody. I'll better see what happens when you elect Republican. If Trump does lose, as everybody's widely predicting right now, my guess is we'll probably be sideways. The Fed will raise interest rates at the December FOMC, and we'll chop into the New Year's, and then after that, we'll see what we've got. First of anybody's administration, if the stock market were let to do its own thing as it has done historically, you would expect the stock market to sell. Pumped up into the election is over. That fiscal stimulus is withdrawn. Those dollars are no longer finding their way into the economy, and the stock market sells. But that hadn't been the case since March of 2009. Looking at the F1 screen. Higher low, higher high, find a place to buy it. Looking at the F2 screen. Not as strong. It is leaning P nonetheless, but the tail came in late in the session, and the selling tail was there early. So we've got resistance at 50. So tomorrow's news is pretty light. We've got FHFA housing up a half, a price index up a half. We've got Case-Shiller housing index plus 0.2. Consumer confidence 101. That one could actually come in higher because Hillary's going to win the election. And then Richmond Fed at -8. So the news focus is going to be consumer confidence, would be my guess, and what goes on in Asia. So we're in the same situation we've in this morning. Sell 49s to 51s. Sell 54s, 56s. On the buy side, 40, 42. And 35, 37. Don't have a lot of news to drive the trading, so we'll just pretty much keep the same numbers we had today. Looking at the 10-year, tomorrow's the 2-year auction. I imagine we're going to find buying tomorrow in the 10 and the 30-year, no matter what the E-mini does. We had a 1 to 5 buy and a 15 to 19 sell. The high was 15.5 and the low was 2.5. So that's the third market we've talked about where our prognostication came out pretty darn good. It looks like, so right now we've got a higher high and a lower low, so we've got an outside day that says trading range. Definitely a B, definitely heavy. So my guess is right off the bat we're going to find sellers. So 7 to 11 sell 1, 15 to 19 sell 2. But I think sometime tomorrow we find buyers. So we're going to make 29 to 01 buy 1 and 21.25 buy 2. Those in you in London, first trades is sell. Looking at the 30-year. The spill was from 17, so we're at resistance. 12 to 16 is number 1. 19 to 23, sell 1. 31 to 03, sell 2. Hard to see us getting back to the buck, but I'm guessing it's a 164 minus, 165 plus market for the auction. The buck to 04 for number 1. 25, 29 buy 1. 13 to 17 buy 2. Yeah, gold, had a good day in gold. Outside day, trading range. On the F1 screen, on the F2 screen. Got that saddle formation, so if we don't break early, or in London, got a pretty good chance of getting back up to 1270, so we'll keep 60, 62 by 1. 55, 57 by 2. On the sell side, we are at resistance here, the 66, 67, but we'll make it 69, 71, and we'll put a question mark at 67. Well, crude was all over the place. The sell after a rally didn't come till the 1436 bar. So we'll just build a little research on that, and over time we might have us a trade when it rallies into the close. This market is subject to new spikes and swings, lower high, lower low. Find a place to sell it off the F1 screen. The F2 screen, it's a P put in backwards. So 50 to 55, 50 to 75, sell 1. 51 and a quarter, 51.25, sell 2. I can't see that anything changed today. 49.75, 50 buy 1. And then 49 and a quarter, 49.50 buy 2. I'm going to raise that 25 points. Pretty much what we had coming in this morning. And last but not least, the euro. Lower high, maybe a lower low here by a tick or two. So this one still has sell written all over it. Going nowhere in a hurry. Pretty square, but we're in a B, so 15 to 25, sell 1. 40 to 50, sell 2. Support is in the 75 to 80, maybe a little bit lower. 75 to 85 by 1. And 50 by 2. So an interesting article that NATO is preparing for war with Russia. They're both so weak militarily, that one might actually happen, not be afraid to go up against each other. Russia has nukes, so does NATO. So it'd have to be ground warfare, and Russia would face pretty heavy logistical problems. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it's kind of farcical if you think about it. But this really does feel like the precursor to World War II, the Spanish Civil War. Hey, had a pretty good day today. We'll be at it again tomorrow morning. You all have a great evening. I am out of here.